Hey everyone, how are y'all? Hey Carrie, how are you? I'm crazy, how are you? Hey Trey baby. Carrie, I'm doing good, thank you. I'm crazy, I'm trying to get my eyesight back. That was crazy. Oh, oh, I guess Nightbot's not wanting to work tonight. Emerald Queen, how are you? Alright, let me sign into Nightbot and see if I can. Crime Crazy, you and White Widow Baby remind me to email something to y'all here in a little while. Or well after the live. Because I just figured out who someone was. Hey, Treasure, how are you? Okay, now Nightbot wants to start acting right. Hey, Teresa. Y'all got some emails for me? Did they come with trigger warnings? Hey, P Fox. Yes, White Widow Baby. Basically, giving it up who they are. Hey, Petey, how are you? Where the heck is my live at? Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, he just smooth gave up who he was. Okay. Pickle Me Elmo, thank you so much for being a member for 6 months. You're really not White Widow Baby. It's comical, honestly. Okay, make sure I got all my chats on live chat. Hey, No Conspiracy, how are you? It really does pickle me, Elmo. Oh my gosh. Judy, it's not really a joke. It's somebody who thinks they're smart, but they're not smart. Hey, Laurel, how are you? We're going to have to set some rat traps tonight. Because I'm sure little old rat boy will be lurking. So, oh, honestly, crime crazy, I think the rocks are smarter. Marissa, how are you? Hey, baby boop. How are you tonight? Yeah, Judy, he's dumber than a box of rocks. Hey, Ashley P, how are you? John B, how are you? Hey, Keith, how are you? It's kind of funny. Uh, my low end channel is a lot smarter than that channel. We'll just put it like that. Laurel, no, they ain't gonna come in here and start no trouble. They know better. So they just decide to go to other people's channels and start saying stuff. Baby boob, I'm gonna look into something about what me and you were talking about, and I'm gonna email you about something and see if it'll help you. So I'll do that tonight, after I'm done with the live, because I was telling Troll what you were telling me, and he told me that there was something I could look into. Cujo, how are you? Hey, the other Sharon, how are you tonight? My wheelbarrows, she was smarter. Oh no, Judy, I'm gonna laugh about it. That's what I'm gonna do. Because honestly, they are not. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? They are not worth me getting upset. Honestly, at this point, it is just you, you have to laugh about it because they are not too good at what they're trying to do. They're not smart at all. They think they're all that in a bag of chips, and they ain't even worth a bag of chips. It's comical. It really is. Like I'll that's why I'm laughing about it. When you're on one channel under your regular name, you go to another channel under a different name, you talk crap to people in another channel, and then you run back to the first channel you were on under your real name and tell what you just said. Baby, but we love you too, honey, and I'll tell him once he gets back home. Hey, Gigi. It really is. Oh, Cheryl, nothing's wrong. Just getting a lot of entertainment tonight, that's all. So tonight, I'm probably not going to be on here, but about 2 hours. Um, there's some Bryan Kohberger stuff that there was one new document. I don't think it's too important, but I went over all the other ones that they dropped out. So I'm going to go over this one. It's only like 2 pages, I think. I got a video and then an article I'm going to read talking about the internal affairs investigation that's going on. And then I'm going to open panel because I really want to hear other people's opinions on this. And then before I end it tonight, I'm gonna go over the other cases and give some updates on them. Oh, Cheryl, I saw that. They said that the I guess the other guy or whatever. I didn't really keep up with the trial every day, but I believe the guy that was involved in it or whatever, he was the one that was at fault. Hey Tad, how are you? Hey Tonka, how are you? And Tad, I'm doing good. Michelle, I seen that she was awarded $1. See, that's what she asked for. Oh wow. Probably she probably wasn't worried about the money. It's probably just wasted her time, honestly. Did you see? Pickle me, Emma. Somebody I read something about he travels all over the world or something like that. See, not feeling good. Walk long hauls at hospital yesterday with hubby. His father. Oh, Gigi, that's awesome news. Not. I hope you get to feeling better, but your husband's vitals being good is awesome news. H Town Finest, how are you? Hey, Nene, how are you? H Town Finest, we love you too. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Tad, I'm feeling all right. I'm still itchy a little bit where those little, I don't know exactly what they're called. They call them stickers, but they're whatever it is that they hook the leads to, where they were on me. It's still itchy, but other than that, I'm glad that I don't have the dang thing no more. The amazing Tiff, how are you? Yes, Gigi, that is awesome, awesome news. So that means he's gonna be okay. He can get up, he can walk, down those long halls in the hospital, and his vitals are good. He's gonna be okay. Let's see. So Cheryl, I called yesterday, and asked them when I like, did I need to schedule a doctor's appointment or whatever, and they said that probably by Monday of next week, they should have the results, and then the nurse is going to call me, and I would only need to schedule an appointment with the doctor if there was something that he needed to discuss with me. Um, if there was anything that was abnormal or anything like that. So hopefully I don't have to see him. Let's see, I had mine for, oh, Cheryl, I don't know how you dealt with that thing for 14 days. A tad, we're supposed to get bad weather tomorrow too. They've already got wind advisories and everything else up for us right now. Well, Gigi, you let him know that we are still praying for him and we are praying for you as well. All right, let me go grab my first stuff. Let's see. Ooh, Cheryl. Hey, Rigger Bob, how are you? Yeah, Scott, I didn't like where they took it off. It's red and it's like super itchy. I don't know if that's what it was. I was allergic to them, but the lady when she when I went and got the monitor, she did tell me that I would probably itch from them. Hey, Anthony, how are you? Okay. Let me find, because I have a video and an article on this Bryan stuff. Um, the video that I have it's on Dan Abrams' thing, but Bryan Inton, I guess, is still filling in with him or filling in for him. Um, but he has Howard Bloom. Hey, King Scarlet, how are you? You know, Howard Bloom's the guy that, or Blum, he's the guy that wrote, I think it was a 3-part story on the Idaho 4. So he is actually on there with Bryan Inton, and they're talking about the DNA that was found on the knife sheath. So I'm going to show it second. Let me just grab the article real quick. Yeah, Cheryl, I got extra ones too. And I only had to change one of them, and that was it. Oh, Gigi, you're very welcome. Okay, let's see. Let me get this pulled up here. Well, looks like it's going to take it a second. Okay. Let's see. Did you see they arrested a woman, 22, got the woman? Oh, yes, Cheryl. I did see that. And she is, what's her name? The Emma Bailey girl. She was friends with the victims. It was her and another guy that got arrested for selling the drugs laced with fentanyl. And the guy, he was a University of Idaho student, and he, there was one of the newspapers or whatever it was he worked for. He was a journalist, and yeah, he ended up dying. And I was trying to find when it was that he died, but I didn't have enough time tonight because literally just got his name about 20 minutes before I went live. So I was trying to find out when it was that he passed away. All right. Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger's internal affairs disclosure unlikely tied to the student stabbings. Well, Cheryl, do you know? Hey, Dennis, how are you? Do you know if she was arrested in Latah County? Because when I first heard about it, like a day or so ago, before I had her name, and I looked through the Latah County roster, and I didn't see her in there. Maybe she bonded out then. All right, so it says Idaho prosecutors disclose an internal affairs investigation into college student murder suspect Bryan Kohberger's defense. Bill Thompson's office informed Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall and Kohberger's team this week that it would be disclosing potential Brady Giglio material related to the police officer involved in the massacre probe. But that doesn't mean that there is a connection with the stabbings of the former University of Idaho students in November. Brady material is information that could potentially prove a defendant's innocence, experts tell Fox News Digital. Giglio material is damaging to the integrity of a witness, in this case, one of the officers involved in the investigation. Now, there has been a name of an officer. I don't know if he, and it's a very good possibility that he was, but I don't know for a fact that he was on the Idaho 4 stuff. But there isn't, he was part of the case where the guy that we were just talking about, he was sold drugs that was laced with fentanyl. He actually overdosed twice. The first time they were able to bring him back, the second time they wasn't able to, and he passed away. Okay, thank you, Emerald Queen. So I'm trying to look into it and to see if I can find out if that officer was part of this. Like I said, it's a small police department. I'm sure he was part of it. And that could be the whole Brady Giglio thing and all that. King Scarlet, thank you. She was born in Yes, P Fox, she went to high school in Moscow and all that, I heard. So I do have her name. I have the guy that passed away. I have his name. The guy that was arrested with the girl, I don't have his name. So I've got to dig a little bit more and try to get his name. Hey, American Princess, how are you? But allegedly, she was friends with the victims. Hoping for answers, yes. Crazier and crazier. And literally, it's getting deeper and deeper by the day. Okay, so it says Marshall granted Thompson's request for a protective order that will withhold the material from the public based on the argument that they are part of a personal file which is exempt from disclosure. Okay, so this is not uncommon. Paul Muro, attorney and former NYPD inspector, said of the disclosure, defense attorneys are entitled to the information through discovery, while the prosecutor is asking that whatever is turned over remain sealed due to the exemption under the state law. Giglio materials may be used by the defense to undermine an investigator's credibility, Muro said, but they don't have to be related to the student stabbings. Hey, Lisa B., how are you? He was the first officer. Oh, okay. Okay, so Dennis, I'm still trying to find out the exact dates, but there is an officer, which they are saying in chat that he was part of. Hey, 9mm. He was part of the investigation on the Idaho 4 stuff. Hey, Rich, how are you? But there was another case that involved a girl who was friends with the victims of the Idaho 4 stuff. Her and this other guy got arrested because they sold drugs that was laced with fentanyl to another University of Idaho student. Hey, Roger, how are you tonight? And the guy that they sold the drugs to, he OD'd on them and he passed away. Now, he has OD'd before. Like, the first time he OD'd, they were able to bring him back. The second time, they wasn't. And the officer that was involved with that, from what I'm understanding, he was part of that investigation in this one. There was another investigation that he was part of as well. But I got to look more into that one too, because that had something to do with a sticker that was put around town. Hey, Cammie, how are you? Oh, it was the same night. Yeah, see, I haven't. I got to dig more into it. I got the name like 20 minutes before I went live. Hold on just 1 second, y'all. I got to tell Troll something real quick. Okay. All right, let me get back into my thing here. All right, so it says, so this is a case that you know is going going up on appeals because the mandatory appeals and death penalty cases, explained Nima Romney, a former federal prosecutor. So you just want to disclose everything. You don't want to get a death sentence overturned on appeal because you didn't comply with your constitutional obligations. Furthermore, he said, prosecutors likely won't even call the impeachable officer to testify anyway and will build their case around unimpeachable evidence. It comes as its police department and several officers face a federal lawsuit from a church group in town alleging violations of constitutional rights in connection with a crackdown on protesters over, and y'all see the word, the Rona. I can't say it on here. Hold on. P Fox just gave me the other name. Let me write this name down real quick. P Fox, thank you. Okay. All right, so she was 22, he was 37. Okay. All right. Okay, so the Rona restrictions is Wilson versus Moscow is the case. The disclosures might be related to the federal lawsuit, or they could be related to something else entirely, experts say. If it's anything from the lawsuit, it may be the allegation that police withheld crime scene video for a year. This is all kinds of speculation, he explained. It literally could be anything. It doesn't have to be anything illegal. It's something that could impeach the officer's character. All right, let me get down a little bit more. So it could be beating your wife, smoking weed, getting passed out drunk at a bar, misusing your authority, lying to protect another officer, excessive force. It's not just illegal conduct, it's anything unethical, embarrassing, anything that says you're a liar, he said. Lying on your taxes. I've seen these, and it can range anything that can potentially impeach you. Think about all the things that can be used to cross examine and impeach a police officer, and it's such a wide range of possibilities. As one, how are you? Okay. If I've missed anyone coming in, I do apologize. So, one of the officers named in the lawsuit was reportedly among the first Moscow police personnel responding to the King Road home on November the 13th, hours after Kohberger allegedly snuck inside with a knife and stabbed the four friends to death in the middle of the night. The attack killed 21-year-old best friends Kaylee and Madison, along with their housemates, Xana, and her visiting boyfriend, Ethan. Both 20, all four had been stabbed multiple times. Only some suffered defensive wounds, suggesting the 4 a.m. ambush began with some of them sleeping. Kohberger's being held without bail at the Latah County Jail. His preliminary hearing was scheduled for the week of June 26th. I wonder why they said it was scheduled instead of it is scheduled. All right. Wait, P Fox, what do you mean it has no sound? They said there. Oh, wait. Hold on. No video. Then the video surfaced and had. Okay, never mind, P Fox. I see what you're saying. Okay, I believe the Wilson's case is a civil rights case and still going. Roger. Yeah, I got their names tonight too. I think one of them was found guilty, if I'm not mistaken, in that case. That's the ones with the stickers and all that. Werewolf Queen, thank you so much for being a member for 6 months. And she said, proud pickle with a yellow star. Well, thank you for that. The Lamb is the Light, how are you? Let's see. Okay, so now they're suing them. Vapor, how are you? Let's see. Sorry, y'all. I did a deep dive into both of these last night because Scar wasn't on. Yeah, P Fox. I was exhausted last night. Oh my gosh. The Lamb is a light. I'm doing good. Thank you. So, P Fox, you're talking about the Wilson's case? Vapor, you haven't missed much. I just read an article that's talking about the internal affairs disclosure. They're saying that it could more than likely it's not tied to the student stabbing. All right. Okay. Let me find my video here real quick and get all this other stuff off my screen. Okay. Yo, it is like hot as I don't know what down here. Good Lord, it's hot. All right, it's gonna take me a second to get the video pulled up here. Like I said, this is on Dan Abrams. Bryan Inton is filling in for him, and he's got the Howard guy on here. And he's talking about the DNA it that was found on the sheep and how it was actually found. The Lamb is the light, is it really? It's 70 here. It was actually in the 80s here today, but it's gonna storm here tomorrow, so it's like hot and muggy. Judy. See, when I was a teen, if you had a record once you turned 18, it got Cheryl. That's how it is here. Once you hit 18, they seal your juvenile record. Okay, and the ones that's wondering about upset and crime crazy, it's none of y'all in here. It really isn't. It's just it's rat boy bullshit. I'll leave it at that. Oh, it's cold in North Carolina? Oh Lord. I'm eating my blueberry muffin. Gigi, eat a blueberry muffin for me. Okay, it's gonna take this a second, y'all. I don't know why. Is my internet out? What the heck? Can we name names here? Roger, if they have something to do with these cases, yeah, you can put names in the chat. See, it's just that crime crazy is on the warpath. Tell it like it is. But I was being honest though, crime crazy. It's really not those in the chat. It's just much bullshit, honestly. I don't know what's wrong with this video. Hold on, y'all. Oh, what the hell? Let me pull it back up because it was working just fine before that. Now, maybe it'll work. In Vegas, Vapor? Y'all been getting a lot of snow there this year, huh? Okay. Okay, it's a large muffin. Okay, Gigi, that's fine. Hey, Rum Runner, how are you? Okay, so now maybe the video will work. Hold on, let me. Okay. Okay, the second officer on the scene was the other officer in the Wilson case, so the first two officers to arrive at the murders aren't credible witnesses. Thank you for the information, P. Fox. This is Gunter's in Moscow, Idaho, and I found a history of violence on the case. Oh, wow, Roger. Hey, Candy, how are you? But so, Roger, that the officer that you named in that comment, that's the one I'm thinking that it possibly could be. Uh, that they're doing this whole internal investigation or internal affairs investigation on. At first, I thought it was Payne, but starting to think it's this other guy now. Candy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a while since we've seen you. All right, let me get this started. And then it's like 5 minutes long, so I'm gonna mute out while it's playing.
There are new questions about the knife sheath and where it was sent to be tested. My next guest has new information on that. Joining us now is journalist and best-selling author Howard Bloom, who has worked for the New York Times and Vanity Fair. He is currently writing a book about Bryan Kohberger and covering the case for Air Mail News. Thank you so much for coming on, Howard. I'm a big fan of your recent articles on the case. Appreciate you taking the time tonight. I want to talk about the testing of this knife sheath and what you have learned about it.
Well, as you pointed out earlier, the police were all along moving forward, even though we in the media, the public didn't know what was happening. And they were focusing on Bryan Kohberger. But they couldn't completely make the case so they could issue an arrest warrant. What they did is they had the knife sheath, and they had on the button of the knife sheath, they had touch DNA. And they had no way to tie that to Kohberger. And the Idaho lab came up with this idea of using a separate lab in Texas. This lab had specialized in proprietary devices that made what is called kinship DNA. You could figure out a relative of the DNA that you already had. And this lab was set up to investigate unsolved murders. It was backed by some Silicon Valley venture capitalists. It was a never before used in a present case, just only in cold cases.
So let me just interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, but you're saying this lab that they sent the knife sheath to has never been used before except in cold cases?
Yes, this was the first time they were willing to take a chance. They wanted desperately to make an arrest. They wanted desperately to tie the suspect to this knife sheath. So meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, they gathered, they had that midnight garbage run.
Right.
They picked up garbage that was the father's DNA. They could then send that to the lab, tie it to the knife sheath, and they could make this kinship. And now they could say within 0.99.9% positive.
Right. I just want to zero in, Howard, on this Texas lab, because this is new information that you've reported that I didn't know until you reported it. When you say never before done technology that they're using, that it's only been used on cold cases, I mean, couldn't this be an issue for the prosecution? This seems like something the defense could really zero in on. Why did the knife sheath get sent to this lab that has never done this kind of work before?
I don't think so. I actually think it will reinforce the prosecution's case. This lab is very respectable. Their cases, their evidence has been, the methodology has been held up in court time after time, and I think this reinforces the prosecution's case. I don't think it will it's not a positive for Kohberger.
Let me ask you, because we did a story at the Idaho Crime Lab, looked very advanced. It was our understanding at the time that they were the ones doing all of the testing. Why would they need to send it to Texas?
They did not have the DNA that could prove kinship, relationship. And only this lab in Texas had this proprietary mechanism to do this. In fact, way before the Kohberger the case, the state of Idaho had signed a contract with this lab in case something came up in a cold case to use this lab's facilities. And now they came up with the idea, I don't know whose idea it was in Idaho, but let's send it to this lab to get what we needed. Therefore, they had the garbage run in Pennsylvania, where the state police in Pennsylvania were able to get DNA from Kohberger's father. They were able to tie that to the lab and to the knife sheath, and that's how they solved to their best belief that Kohberger is a suspect.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, listen, Howard, we appreciate you coming on. You're the one who broke this information. We didn't even know that Texas was involved. So thank you for coming on tonight and explaining what you learned.
Appreciate talking to you, and I've loved your reporting too on the case.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. We'll be in touch.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.
Okay. Hold on, I'm just trying to get all this off of here. I thought they said Moscow didn't find any DNA on the sheet. Okay, so Vapor, they said that the Idaho lab didn't find any DNA on the sheet, but Moscow was desperate to make an arrest, so they sent the sheet down to Texas to a lab. They call it a startup lab. It was like a bunch of guys from, I think they said Silicon Valley and all that went in and built this lab or whatever. And they're the ones that found the DNA. Hey, Brad, how are you? And this lab has only done cold cases. They've never done any like open investigations or anything like that. So this is the first one that they've ever done like that. All right, hold on, y'all. I'm making notes as I'm going, y'all. Let's see. They have cutting edge equipment at the Texas lab. Yeah, more than likely, if this lab is top notch, like they're saying, the one down in Texas, they may start getting more business from other states on different cases. Okay, I understand that, but touch DNA is still touch DNA. Well, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Hey, Kim, how are you? Wait, did I say fingerprints instead of DNA? If I did, I do apologize. But I don't understand why Idaho wasn't able to find the DNA. Obviously they had to know that there was some type of DNA on it if it was found there at the scene. But it's weird how they only found it on that one little spot. Bullets, thank you so much for that super sticker. That was very nice of you. Let's see. Does anyone find it extremely odd? No blood found in the car. Candy, no, we don't know that yet. The only thing we know about the car is that the night that he was arrested, they took the car and they tore it apart. Why does a private company have more access to anything that a LE lab doesn't? That's a good question. But Candy, they basically tore the car apart. They took the seats, the headrest, the brake pedal, the gas pedal. They took the door panels, the seatbelt things. Oh, okay, Teresa. So they basically took everything out of the car. Okay, I heard it was touch DNA, also known as trace DNA. I want to say American Princess that I heard it was touch DNA as well. What else was it? Was it the floor mats they took out? They said there was a shovel in the car. It was like several different things that they took out of the car, but they haven't came back with what they found. Okay, it's like a private citizen having a nuke and the government not. Pretty much, that's what it seems like, yes. Hey, Moonvale, how are you? And y'all, is the Krista in here? The Krista. I just realized that your birthday was on the 26th, honey, and I am sorry, but happy belated birthday. I can't remember if I went live that night or not, but I do apologize for not wishing you a happy birthday. Okay. Moonvale, yeah, I'm doing all right. Okay, so Altered Soul, thank you for joining us tonight. Said, but they lied on the PCA, saying the Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA. Suspect profile left on the button snap. Okay, let me grab the PCA for a minute. And let me get my chat. Back. Okay. So yeah, while I'm pulling this up, I was looking at my calendar and realized that her birthday was Sunday. H. Jones, I hope not. Okay, let me find the PCA real quick, y'all. Affidavit. No, that's not it. How is it? Alright, I think this is it. So I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to try to just scan through it so I can find the page where they're talking about them finding the DNA. Because if that's what it says, is that Idaho found it, they just straight up lied. If what this Howard guy's telling is the truth. Krista, you're very welcome. Alright, give me just a second, y'all. I'm trying to get it pulled up here. Okay, thank you, Altered Soul. Okay, so let me pull it up on screen for y'all. Let me take this down where everybody can see it. And let's go to page 2. Okay. Alright, now I gotta find... Hey, Izzy! Howard is a writer, so... Is he telling fact or that's what I'm saying, P-Fox. If it is true what he is saying, and they have it in here that Idaho found it, then yeah, they lied. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna read um, this whole paragraph. Nene, thank you so much for that super sticker. That was very nice of you. Thank you. The Krista, we love you too. Okay, doing things that have been done around the world. I understand how easy it is to frame someone, to put it bluntly, but in the interest of Ellie being lawful, I have to believe. Okay, now wait for your next thing. Bullets, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. LJ, Howard is the guy is he with Vanity Fair? Is that who he's with? That Ellie is truthful in an investigation until proved differently. If they're lying about this, I'm thinking Ann Taylor's going to prove that they're lying. Hey, Casey, how are you? I can't remember if it may not be Vanity Fair that he's with. I'll have to go back. I think I have the stories. Oh shit, I can't remember who exactly it was now that he was with. But y'all remember like the first one he put the story out. It was like a 3-part story that he told about the murders, and the first one he put behind a paywall. Airmail, thank you. Okay, let me get this pulled back up here. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted. That's for later. Okay, so I'm gonna read the whole paragraph where this is at. So it says, as I entered the bedroom, I could see 2 females in a single bed in the room. Both Gonsalves and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had a K-bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and the anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, suspect profile, left on the bottom button snap of the knife sheath. So Brett Payne is putting this in an affidavit. And then you have this Howard guy coming out saying, no, the Idaho lab didn't find it, so they had to send it to Texas. So do we believe law enforcement who from the beginning told lies? I mean, both Bethany and Dylan were on the first floor. Kind of find out, according to the PCA, Dylan was on the second. The timeline was changed. The car description was changed. Like, I mean, they, like, I want to believe the PCA because it is coming from the police department. But then you go back and you remember they've lied about things. So do we believe the police department and the PCA, or do we believe this Howard dude? Because we really don't know where he's getting his information from either. Okay, take note, Nevada County. Some shady. Just don't think I forget about you. Yeah, place there in Nevada County. A lot of corruption going on there. Okay, I think this man's demeanor. Oh shit! Wait, where to go? Okay, demeanor with Bryan Inton was so different than he was with Megan. Okay. So, well, yeah, it could be got it wrong, not intentionally lying. Thank you, 9mm. So, I mean, who would y'all believe? If y'all had to make a choice between Brett Payne, Moscow Police Department, and this PCA, or this Howard guy who was a journalist who was telling a story about what happened, but we don't know where he's getting his information from. Which one do y'all believe? Okay, maybe the Idaho. But see, the Krista, like that could be, which that's basically what he's saying they did was the Idaho lab didn't find anything, so they sent it down to Texas. But it seems like if that was true, then they would have put it in the PCA, right? That they, the Idaho State Lab wasn't able to opinion or whatever. LJ. Let's see, they cannot lie on the PCA. So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking too, 9mm, which is how we find out that Dylan was on the second floor instead of the first. Like, I want to believe the PCA. I know that they can't lie in it. I'm sure Ann Taylor is going to try to poke holes all in it. I'm just curious where this Howard guy is getting his information from. Okay, so the PCA is sworn under oath. The journalist did not swear. That is true. Okay, the only way what they are saying was done with different was shit. Hold on, y'all. My chat's moving too quick. Okay. Well, I gotta get it 9mm where I can read the whole thing. Hold on. So the only way what they are saying was done with using a different lab is if they had a contract with the other lab. Well, I don't think they would have had a contract with them unless they have some cold cases up there that they were using that lab for, because the lab has only done cold cases. This is the first case that they've allegedly that they've ever done any type of DNA stuff on that was an open case. Okay, with the Nashville shooter with Nancy Pelosi. Oh. No, I haven't seen it. I haven't even been on there today. That case got a little bit crazy too, the whole Nashville shooter thing. Okay, so kinship DNA analysis will not always provide a conclusive answer. The results of kinship DNA analysis are used to indicate the likelihood of the individuals being related. Yeah, this is just, it's getting crazy, I'm telling y'all. So I'm fixing to open the panel. Like I said, I'm not going to be on here too long tonight. But I'm going to open the panel up for a few minutes. Anybody want to come up and give their opinions on this whole Kohberger thing? Cheryl, I did see that. And they also said that she had planned on attacking her family as well. Okay, so wait, except for this kinship analysis said the DNA belonged to the son of BK's dad. You can't fake that. Lori and CJ, how are you? I love how Ellie is not entertaining with the social media theories and rumors. Ellie will get sucked into that bullshit. Well, I know one thing. There's been a lot of rumors, misinformation, theories, opinions, and everything else about this whole case. This is the shit you get when there is a gag order and a bunch of Yeah, that's where, I mean, once they put the gag order out, everybody goes to running with all these different speculations and all this and that, or they start rumors. And police can't come out and address the rumors to say if they're just that, just a rumor, or if it is the truth. None of the attorneys can. So people know that, and they just run with wild, crazy stuff. Lori and CJ, yeah, I'm feeling okay. I'm tired, but other than that, I'm okay. Speculation is all I know, Cammy. It is. Which honestly, there's nothing wrong with speculation. There's nothing wrong with discussing your theories or your opinions on stuff. Um, but whenever you just make up a rumor just out of the blue and you just run with it, and then you get other people that jumps on the bandwagon with you and they start spreading the rumor, that is what not right. Okay, these two new bits of the news dropped on us like bombshells. Shit, it is really like nothing. Yeah, I'm fixing to pull up this other this last document that was put out today. Like I said, it's nothing really, but I have read all the other ones that they've put out on this case. I might as well do this one too. Oh, Kim, you're talking about him being the DoorDash driver. Yeah, I don't think he was a DoorDash driver. And I'm not gonna. The people have their opinions on it. Um, my opinion is I don't think he was. I do think though that he had help, but I mean I've been saying that from the very beginning. All right, give me just a second. Let me go go down this list. There's so many documents now in Kohberger's part on this website that it's crazy. He's almost has got as much as Vallow in him. Coffindorfer post. Oh, see, I haven't even been on Twitter but like twice today. See, if he had help, we would know by now. But would we know if he did have help, and that person was, I don't know if I would say an informant. I don't know if that would be the right word in this case, but someone that was going to testify against Bryan. Okay, Angela Hall says, just a feeling, but I think that they need to look more into Emma. I'm going to dig into Emma. That she seems like a very interesting person. How are you?
Good. I really just came up to tell you that 9mm should come up.
Yeah, she can come up if she wants to. Hey, Stone Gator, how are you? I'll put the... Okay, Kim, Emma is a girl that they're saying was friends with the victims. And she has been arrested for selling drugs to a guy that was laced with fentanyl. And the guy ended up dying. He was a University of Idaho student. He was a journalist. Worked, I believe it was with one of the papers there in Idaho or in Moscow. So her and another guy both got arrested. Riddler, how are you? So, and her name is what is her name? Emma Bailey. She's only 22. Hey, Sudie, how are you? Okay, let me grab this last document. It's literally 3 pages. Really nothing to it. Sudie, I'm doing good, thank you. Um, but like I said, I've read all the other ones. I might as well read this one too. Riddler, you're very welcome, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Because she was a best friend of an ex-roommate. LJ, was it the one that was still on the lease but didn't live there anymore? Hey Angie, how are you? Okay, this is pulled up. All right, so this is just the state's response to the defendant's second supplemental request for discovery. So it says to the defendant Bryan Christopher Kohberger and counsel Ann Taylor comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and submits the following response to the defendant's second supplemental request for discovery. The state incorporates its January the 23rd, 2023 state's response to the request for discovery and February 21st of 2023 state's response to the defendant's first supplemental request for discovery. As if fully set forth at this point, the state has and will continue to provide discovery in accordance with the Idaho Criminal Rule 16 and applicable law. This was dated the 29th day of March of 2023, so that would have been yesterday. Let me go and see. William Thompson is the one who signed it, and then this last page just shows that it was delivered to Ann Taylor. Disagree with them wanting to destroy the house before. I don't think they should. I don't think they should. I think it should. I get that people don't want to keep seeing it. But I think it should stay until the trial is over with. Let's see. They were stabbed. Not death from fentanyl. Wait, Angie. The one that I was talking about that died from the fentanyl is another student of the University of Idaho. His name is Caden Young. This Emma girl sold him some drugs that was laced with fentanyl, and he died from it. Richard, how are you? See, it should be court ordered if they plan on using it. Wait, what should be court ordered, Stonegator? Hey, Justifax, how are you? See, I think the jury should be able to have a walkthrough. Yeah, I do too. I think they should be able to go in there and just, like I said the other night, feel the house, listen to it. Hey, Jay, look, how are you? If they all got to go in Dylan's room and have someone else walk through the house and see what they can hear, especially going up and down the stairs to the 3rd floor. I think they need to be down in Bethany's room and have someone walking upstairs and making noise in Xana's room and see if they can hear noises. Or even up in Maddie's room and see if they can hear noises from Maddie's room and Dylan's room on the 2nd floor and Bethany's room on the 1st floor. And they should do it for it. Yeah, I mean, they should take it back to the way it was, minus the furniture. I know the furniture is not going to be in there, and there's not going to be stuff on the walls. So the house is going to be more echoey. When people are walking, you're going to be able to hear it better. I just think that they should still do it though. just so the jurors can go in and see how the house is, get the layout of the house. Because, like I said, there's still people that's covered this case and been on it since day one that still don't understand the layout of the house. Okay, he was taken to the ER, treated, died later. Did he possibly do more so? Okay, so Roger, they said that he OD'd twice. The first time they were able to bring him back. The second time they wasn't able to. Pirate Radio, how are you? I would be traumatized. Yeah, a lot of people would, Cheryl, but I think they should still do it. To give the jury just basically the same way that they did with Murdoch's place. You know, they took the jury out there, they walked around the kennels, around the sheds, around the house. You know, they were able to see it with their own eyes instead of seeing it through a 3D scan or 3 pictures or video. So, Judy, what do you think about all this?
I think it's utter nonsense.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, I think people are reaching for straws. And another thing is just like everybody was all ticked off at other cases that you've covered when they've been cremated within 2 days of the autopsy or whatever. You shouldn't get rid of that building. Come
Right.
on.
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, they said some of the families are worried that about the outcome, you know, of the trial and stuff like that if they tear the house down. So hopefully they can go to the prosecution and be like, look, we think it would be better to stay up. Can you please try to get the judge to put something out there that will keep the university from demolishing it until after the trial?
Well, of course he can. He's the judge.
Right.
He can do anything he wants. This is his case.
Right. Dee, I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, I think that maybe the family should go in and, you know, like I said, talk to the prosecutor and see if the prosecutor can go talk to the judge and have it stopped. Now, Millimeter, how are you?
Hey, sweetie, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Okay, I think the DNA thing, people are getting so confused on that. And when they say that they have DNA, people think, oh, they have a full drop of blood or you know, a piece of skin. That's not always the case. And sometimes labs have more technology and can test smaller particles.
Mm-hmm.
And a good way to look at it is it could just be so minute that they can break that particle down, whatever they have, blood, sweat, you know, hair, whatever.
Right.
Because think about this, and I learned this in, like, I don't know, science when I was in elementary school.
Oh,
if
Lord.
you take a cup of water and you pour it off the closest bridge to your house, okay?
Okay.
You can go anywhere in the world, a year, 5 years, 10 years, however long later, and you're going to be able to take a cup of water out of anywhere in the world, any water source in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get at least one atom from that original cup of water.
Okay.
So, because atoms are the very smallest particle, and everything is made from atoms.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they have the technology to be able to test atoms, you know, and molecules, which is atoms make up molecules, then they could possibly have plenty of DNA to outsource it to other labs.
Okay.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just an easy way to look at it.
Okay.
And these labs that test for criminal cases do have to be certified.
Okay. I don't know exactly where this lab is in Texas or even the name of it. I don't think I've even heard the name of it. But we still don't know it as fact, though, that this sheath was sent to Texas.
Well, they cannot lie in the PCA because that is a legal binding document.
Right.
So,
This case, and that's what I was.
okay, I can't hear you at all.
I can't hear her either, so we might be losing her. So we're just gonna have to sit still for a minute and.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. Oh shit! I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I mean, I want to believe the PCA, because, like you said, it's a legal binding document. And we don't know where this Howard guy's getting his information. I mean, he's a journalist. You know how people are, or journalists, I should say. We've seen it in this case where they will just tell something to get a story out there, to get views and clicks and all that. I wish he would have said and not been like other journalists that we've been listening to throughout this case, and tell who his sources are and where he got it from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, when they don't release their sources and all, I don't trust them at all, ever.
It's because, I mean, that's where a lot of the rumors come from. You know, people are running with it that this is factual. And it was all over Twitter, you know, whenever this first came out, because he was on another, I forgot what the woman's name was, but he was on another, talking to another journalist about it, and was telling the same thing, that they didn't find anything in the Idaho lab, so they had to send it to the Texas lab and blah, blah, blah. So it went wild on Twitter. So I don't know. I wish he would tell who he got his information from.
Right, and that's the reason why I always tell chat, be careful who you trust.
Right.
Be careful what channels you're going to, because they like to fuel the flames and cause
Right.
even more crap.
Yeah. Laurel, yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Let's see, state labs should have all the technology out there, so if a rich defendant pays for better labs, then a prosecutor would be at a disadvantage when they should have access to all the prosecute or disprove.
Well, I got something to say about that.
Okay.
As technology expands, and these people can take a smaller piece of DNA and do this, and a smaller piece of DNA and do that. As it expands, not everybody's going to have that machine.
Exactly, Judy. Exactly.
And every machine that comes up with better information costs more money. So that's why people with cancer go to the different cancer hospitals. You want to go where the best technology is and the best equipment is. And if they, with the best of their knowledge, ran it and couldn't find anything, as long as the chain of custody wasn't broken, there's nothing wrong, as far as I'm concerned, with going to a better place with a better computer, with a better breakdown. And if that came up negative, you're sucking wind. But if it comes up with something, DNA's DNA. I don't care.
Right.
So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I got old age brain. I don't know. But like I said,
you can't be that old. I mean, come on now.
Well, I'm just saying, come on now. I've had tests done on injuries from work that showed nothing really, and then have a they throw you in a tube, and they've got, all of a sudden you got a torn meniscus and you got a torn ACL and you got a this and you got a that and body parts you didn't know you owned.
Right.
But they found it on a different machine.
Right. I'm just wondering though if it's true that they really did send it to another lab.
Well, that's what June's for.
Oh, and that is so far away.
And as much as we hope for stuff to talk about, those reporters are too.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm very impatient.
I think we all are. And that's what that reporter was suffering from.
So we have 86 days left until June. Hey, Boomer Girl, how are you?
But there must be, years ago, if DNA didn't even count. You know what I'm saying? And now it's a big thing. And technology's got to keep up with all this stuff.
Okay.
And besides this is a horrendous case. This isn't just some
it's crazy
missing person that was not that anybody's life should be judged this way, but it's not like there's somebody who has no family. There's a Jane Doe that was found. They had a hard time, took them years to find the family. This isn't the case. The case is you got 4 deceased people. It was horrendous. And they had to find, truthfully, they had to find the best way to come up with something.
Yeah, because okay, so let's just say what this Howard guy is saying is true. And the Idaho lab tested it and they wasn't able to find anything. So they wanted a second opinion just so the way you go to a doctor, you want a second opinion to make sure what the first place told you was accurate. And then they sent it to Texas and Texas found, okay, so that's not a big deal. They did what they should have done and got a second opinion. But it's just not knowing and then having to wait until June to find out if what this guy is saying is the truth.
By the time that June comes around, we're going to have 5 different other stories.
Oh God, I know. But him putting that information out without giving his source, because they're the gag order. So how is he going to know? Like, there had to have been someone who was under that gag order that would have told him that information.
Okay, and we all learned from screw around and find out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Same story, different place.
So,
these news agencies can go to jail for not releasing their sources, and they do.
Yeah, I wish he would have released the source because, like I said, we have the gag order. Only a person who was within the investigation would have known that piece of information. See, I don't think he is either. I think they have the right guy. It's just they're gonna have to, present their case to the jury. The jury, like they agree with it or whatever, because I think they have the right guy. I still think that there was somebody else helping though.
Well, if they were using other letters other than DNA, they might have a chance. But DNA has been proven over the years. And I think the minute you say the words DNA, if I was on that jury, and the minute they presented to me, DNA, well, what's the chance out of 100 I'm going to believe them?
Right.
Whether this is a new machine, whether this is like I said, it's a horrendous case. And that mixed with the part of DNA I mean, they're going to show pictures of that place to the jury,
Oh, for sure.
and then you're going to say the word DNA to them. I think, you know,
I just hate whenever they put the stuff out there, like I was saying, with the with, and they're presenting it as facts without presenting a source, and then people go wild with it. Hey, Nika, how are you? People go wild with it, and that's where all the rumors start coming into play.
so why can't people put pressure on this reporter and say, where's your source?
Or only people who would know this to be truth of what he is saying. It's part of the investigation. Therefore, they are under the gag order. And if somebody under the gag order, like, they would have to be leaking it if it's the truth.
But the people who aren't leaking it can't speak up and say that's bullshit.
Exactly.
So,
and that's why people are running with these crazy rumors. They will just think of something off the top of their head and run with it, because they know that law enforcement, who knows the truth about the investigation and has all the evidence, can't come out and say that's not true. And that's where it's getting crazy.
well, if you sent this off, we'll just say that there's a gag order on everybody. But if they sent this off to a lab in Texas, would that gag order cover them too?
I would think so, because they would be part of the investigation.
Well, I would think so too, but
I don't know. I wonder if they would have to the gag order to include them. It would just automatically cover them as well, since they're part of. They would now be part of the investigation.
well,
I guess so. No.
I don't know how to say verbally what, you know. He's in jail. If he did it, he better find Jesus, which I think he's on the road to doing that. He is a law student, or a, whatever you call him, student.
Criminology.
Right. So he could be saying to his lawyer, even though he was there, say he's the one that did it.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be sitting in a good seat saying, well, I didn't get any scratches that night. How'd they get my DNA? Or you know what I mean? There's two sides to all this, but I don't know. I hope this is just, we got to wait till June. But I would really go after that reporter.
Yeah, I think that if they're gonna put out information like that, I think they should put their source out too, especially in a case like this. If somebody tells you something and gives that type of information, you should reveal your source, because you're not law enforcement who can put someone under protection and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, because law enforcement, if somebody comes in and tells some stuff that they know, there's a chance they could be put like under protective custody, where as a journalist you can't do that. So reveal your source if you're going to put information out like that.
The other thing that makes me sick to my stomach is these poor families got to listen to this crap.
Right. Hold on 1 second, Judy. Okay. No. What about? I didn't open a Coke. See, I should say. I'm pretty sure they have a lot more evidence than what we realize.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But we're getting we're getting closer to June now. So I was kind of expecting,
Yeah.
people
I
are
hope.
bored. They don't want to wait till June. So let
Yeah.
me stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. I just hope that whatever evidence they have uh, proves his guilt if he is guilty.
Exactly. If he's guilty, he needs to hang for this. If he's not guilty, then they need to find out who is.
Yeah, because if it's proven that he's not guilty, then whoever did this is still out there roaming free.
Exactly.
And has possibly done it to other people, will possibly do it to other people until they're called.
Well, yes.
And
I mean, you can't use sketchy behavior in a court of law, but you got to admit this guy's sketchy.
yeah, he is. And Izzy said, in my opinion, the case is going to blow us away with much more evidence. Yeah, I'm super curious to know what other evidence they have.
Yeah, Vapor, you're right.
Okay, well, picture and video of the crime scene doesn't go to guilt. It's only a record of the crime. Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering, like, the camera footage they have of the car. Does it show him in the car driving it that night? And him being the only person in the car? Like, which I know they don't want to come out and talk about it just because, they want to keep the integrity of the case and all this and that, but I'm a very impatient person.
Oh,
and want to know everything.
The BK is not going to see everything that they got on him until June, correct?
I don't know how that works exactly. I'm pretty sure she can show him everything that has been given over to them. It's just I wonder if she chooses to show it to him or not, because I mean he would have to help her build his case. You know how, like, we've listened to other trials and the judge will tell the defendant, okay, you got to talk to your attorney, or you need to talk to your attorney, and you need to, especially when they're talking about the whole competency part of it, are you competent enough to all that? So I would think she would show him all the stuff and help her with it. And if something comes up that she doesn't understand, he can go back and tell her the story of that part that she doesn't understand.
Well, here's the easy part. Either he was there or he wasn't. So if you weren't there, where were you?
Right.
Let's start right there.
Coffin. Okay, so the only true nail in his coffin is his blood at the crime scene mixed with any of the victim's blood. Blood in his car is still circumstantial. But I wonder, okay, so Vapor, are you saying his, like, the victim's blood in his car? Is that what you're saying? Because, I mean, that...
No, I think he's saying if it was just Bryan's blood in the car, it's circumstantial.
Okay.
I mean, if you got the victim's blood mixed with the seat, you got problems.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because, I mean, if their blood's in there, like, he's got some explaining to do.
Exactly. But I'm choosing not to get nervous about this because, like you said, I mean, look at all the things he did. If he cleaned that car so well at his house, what's to say he cleaned that car how many times before his father got there? I mean,
yeah.
Let's just sit down quietly, I guess, until June. And I still say, yeah, we ought to go after that guy that ran this stupid article.
Yeah. Cherokee Raider, thank you so much for being a member for 3 months. And she says, hello, everyone, mods, panel member, and Scarlett. Well, Cherokee Raider, thank you. That was very nice of you. And I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Well, it's not circumstantial vapor if it's mixed with the people at the scene.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to explain, like, how did those, either one or all of those victims' blood get in your car? Like, he would have some explaining to do on that, for sure.
I think it goes. Yeah, vapor, you're right, but.
Okay, so they would need to prove he was the one in the house to prove he brought the blood to his car. See, I said at the scene would be the no. Okay. Oh, yeah, if they find his blood mixed with their blood, like you're saying, at the scene. Yeah, I mean, that's if they have that proof and it's presented to a jury.
Well, you got 4 women. No, you got 3 women and 1 male, right?
Yeah.
The odds that you got a 3 out of 4 chance that somebody got some DNA under their fingernails.
I hope so.
And if they had 2 that no defensive wounds, they were probably asleep, then you've got a 2 out of 4 chance.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends how you look at it, potatoes. But I still think this guy reporting that was wrong. I think that's something that should have come out in the court hearing or the trial.
Paige, how are you? Okay, so Paige, I just heard about those guys 30 minutes before I went live tonight. So I don't know a whole lot about them other than their case has something to do with some stickers that they were putting on public property, on the back of buildings, on poles in the street. There was another place that was named in the article that I read. And one of them was actually found guilty for it. I haven't read about the other ones, though. Hey, Dan, how are you? Pam, how are you tonight? So it just, and another thing I don't understand. So they come out wanting us to look for this car, right? A 2011 to 2015 car, white Hyundai Elantra. Asking the public, if you see the car, call us. People go crazy. We all start, me included, we all start looking for this car on Google Maps. Everybody who finds a car, they turn it into the police department or to the FBI or whatever the little tip line thing was. Then when the car in Eugene was found, we hear nothing else about the car at all. Paige, I don't get to see the doctor. Well, I won't know anything until the 1st of next week if I'll have to see the doctor or not once they get the results. And then the whole Brent Kopacka thing comes out. And we hear about it for a little bit, and then we don't hear about it anymore. And then
you're starting to get robotic, Scarlett.
Come right back in.
Oh, now you're back.
Okay, so it sounds better now?
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully it's not my internet going back out. No, it was my internet. I see it coming back up now. But anyway, what I was saying is the whole Brent Kopacka thing. We heard about it for a little bit, and then we don't hear about it anymore. And then it comes out that Brent Kopacka and Brett Payne were in the military together. So I'm not saying that Brent Kopacka had anything to do with this, but I do think that he should be looked into a little bit more. just to see if there's anything there, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm sure Brian's lawyer is going to do that.
Paige, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she will send in a FOIA request, but you get denied. They're saying that it's still under investigation. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a Turkey thing, and they're just going to keep the case open so they don't have to send in or send out the FOIA request.
Well, where have we seen that move before?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a Turkey thing. Because I believe she had tweeted about it the other day that she did a FOIA request on Brent Kohberger, and they had it.
You're starting to break up again.
Oh my Lord!
It's all right. We can still hear most of it. I'm just giving you a warning.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen my internet went out a minute ago, so hopefully it doesn't start acting up again tonight.
Well, if it does, I'm sitting here holding the fort down for you. You'll be right back.
Yep. So it shows it's good right now. So let's see. I'm going to almost positive. I did not have his blood crime scene because he wouldn't have gone to his doctor appointment a couple of days. Yeah, he went to his doctor's appointment to do it. And then he just goes back to his normal life like it's nothing. Goes back to school, finishes out his semester, works, and all that. It's crazy.
But don't you? The only thing I'm holding on to is that he didn't act, I guess he was a strange dude anyway, but he didn't act totally off the wall before this happened and after it happened. I mean, he was wearing rubber gloves to the damn grocery store and
Right.
at school. So he was paranoid about something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if that gets brought up, I mean, his attorney can be like, oh, he's OCD. You know, he doesn't, or he's a germaphobe or some, like, she can.
Or he didn't want to leave his fingerprint somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to say that. But Michelle, have a good night. But yeah, she can for sure argue that. You know, that.
Well, a few days ago, I was seeing on the news or that he was going for that. What's that damn problem that he swears he has? Snow?
Oh, visual snow?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where somebody took that out of, but they're trying to do something here, so.
Okay, Pam, that's fine, honey. Yeah, but he never went to a doctor and got diagnosed with that. That was kind of like his own self-diagnosis type thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah. So I think at this point he's grabbing at straws here and there. I mean,
yeah. Roger, visual snow is a real thing. There was actually people back, I don't know, a month and a half ago, I guess, when we were talking about it, that said that they have it. Honestly, I've never even heard of it until his whole Tapatalk account, Brian's Tapatalk account. He was talking about visual. I don't remember how many people, like 2 or 3 people that was in chat that said that that they had it. So I don't know if you would say that that's really a common thing, but I was surprised to see that there was that many people in my chat that had it, and I never even heard of it.
I think there's a lot of things out there that we're going to start hearing about this year that we never knew happened.
Right. And see, that's another thing that his attorney can argue about the gloves at the grocery store, is, you know, what's been going on the past few years since 2020. and she can say, well, he was wearing gloves because he didn't want to pick the germs up.
He didn't want to what?
That he was wearing the gloves at the grocery store and all that, like when he would go places, because he didn't want to pick germs up. Because, like, she can use what's been going on since 2020, the whole Rona and all that.
Yeah, but if he didn't do it 6 months before that crime was allegedly committed on those people, that would. You follow what I'm saying here?
Right, but I mean, she can still argue that, though.
Now, she's got to argue something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she'll find something that she can argue on this. Let's see, I'm still... Riddler, yeah, they haven't said anything else about the 911 call. Hey, Stevie, how are you?
There's a lot of things that haven't been talked about, and I think they got squished, and the gag order worked. Except for the fact that we got people leaking or talking stuff out the butt because their mouth knows better.
Apparently, there's somebody within the investigation that's leaking all this information out.
Would God help them if they or her if they ever find out if that's true?
Yeah. Wait, Paige, what do you mean, which article? See, they released 911 call from... I was Cheryl. I heard that they had released it. I haven't listened to it. Okay, visual snow is scary. A neighbor experiences it. It is the symptoms of ADHD, neurodivergence, but not any aggressive disorders. Yeah. Okay, when I came on, y'all were talking about an article. I was talking about... I gotta think back what I've been talking about. I did talk about an article that I read earlier tonight on some guys that I got to look more into, because the officer that was over their case also worked Bryan Kohberger's case, and I'm wondering if it's that officer that they're doing the internal affairs investigation on. I'm trying to think if there's any other article that I talked about.
Well, you said there was two in the beginning, and one you had to look into, and the other one I thought you shared. So I think you've covered it.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that may be the one she's talking about then.
Yeah, because I don't.
That's the only ones I remember.
Yeah, that's all I remember you saying too.
Okay, baby boop, you have a good night, honey. And I will email you that I was telling you about earlier, baby boop.
There's almost 200 people in here. I hope everybody's hitting the like button.
Let's see, article about the Vanity Fair. Oh no, I did say the Howard guy. It was actually Airmail that he wrote the articles for, and I was thinking Vanity Fair, but I forgot who it was said it was Airmail. No, we were talking about... I did mention about those articles. Let's see, I don't know if there was something huge I missed. No, Paige, I read an article about... they were saying that this whole internal affairs disclosure thing probably doesn't have anything to do with the student stabbing. Baby boop, I love you too, honey. And then I did play a video of Bryan Inton, and he had Howard Blum on there with him. And I was talking about the whole 3-part article or story or whatever that he did. I don't know why I was thinking it was Vanity Fair, but it was Airmail. And then the only other one that I've talked about was the one that I said that I'd read part of earlier, not long before I went live, about The three guys. It has to do. It was like a something to do with stickers. I want to say they said Soviet Moscow or something like that on them, and they got arrested for it.
I don't know. We said that it was going to be a wild year. We're not liars. Are you there, Scarlett?
Let me grab
Okay.
my notes here.
That's all right.
Because I do have a couple of other cases that we've talked about before that I wanted to kind of get some updates on.
Well, get hot.
Okay, so Gretchen Fleming, there's no new updates. Wait, little baby, there hasn't been anything on Madalena's case either, right? Cattywampus, how are you? And then the Jessica girl that was murdered in Dallas. She had the wreck, and then her family had to fly in and help look for her body, and then they found her like 2 days later between the brick building or the concrete wall and that fence. I haven't seen anything else about that either. Okay, have you heard anything else about Paige? I need to keep up with that case more. I know White would have been.
Hello? Yeah, I don't know. I think she's in cyber hell.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And you're back.
Okay. My internet went out.
Sorry. I figured it out.
Okay. I don't know what's up. Now the internet's out again. Can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. My internet's going in and out.
Are you getting bad weather down there?
No, it's not supposed to storm here until tomorrow afternoon.
Hmm.
But I have my internet box sitting on my desk, and the light it'll go off, and then it shows now it's back up. But see, this is what it was doing the other night whenever I couldn't go live. It kept going in and out like this.
Well,
So hopefully it'll stay up long enough for me to get through this.
did you, somebody was asking in chat if you've heard anything more about that Shaquille?
Oh, Shanquilla?
Yeah, okay.
Not really. Her family is wanting the president to get involved in this because they're like the people who did this to her, the girl who beat her up and broke her neck and all that, she still hasn't been arrested. The other group of people that was there filming it and all that, they haven't been arrested. And like Mexico's not doing anything, and the U.S. really hasn't done anything either. But in the very beginning, Mexico was saying because it happened in Mexico, then the person who did this, and they have video of it and all that, but the person who did this would have to face charges in Mexico.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything to her, though. She's just, I think somebody said that they don't know exactly where she's at, but, you know, how hard is she really to find?
Well,
I'm sorry,
she'll surface. She's not going too far.
No, she probably hasn't.
I mean, first of all, if you've got anger issues like that, you'll repeat. And
Yeah, and what the sad part about that whole thing though is that Shanquilla thought that these were her actual friends, and paid for all them to go down there to Mexico and for one of them's birthday and all that. And then the one beats her up like that, and the others just stand back and watch it and don't even help her.
well, you
And
got a point there, but that all of them have got to be looking over their shoulder. I mean, come
Right.
on.
Yeah, and then they steal her money. They steal some of her clothes. Go to her mama's house and eats dinner with her mama, and then lies to her about what happened. Hey, Betty Joe, how are you? Let's see. Betty
Like
Joe.
I said, karma's a bitch.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
come back.
what kind of quality of life do you have?
You don't have none. Not if you
If
have
you,
to look over your shoulder all the time. No.
yeah, exactly. If you got to worry about every car driving down the road, is this an unmarked car? I don't know. That's
Right.
not no life that I want to.
No. Always wondering if people are watching you or if they're gonna run up behind you or whatever. Yeah.
And once you stop looking like that, that's when they're going to grab you. So
Yep. That is true.
their
Sam,
quality of
yes,
life
ma'am,
is
I'm
just
doing good.
gone.
Yeah. Gremlin for sure. You know, she's the one that beat her up. And then the guys were sitting there telling Shanquilla to fight back. And they was like, at least fight back or whatever. And she just said no. Like they knew she didn't want to fight back. And they just let it happen. I don't think there's even a warrant for him. Or there wasn't the last time I was reading up on it, unless that part changed. Okay, what we're doing. All right, let's see what page had March 21st. The next steps. See what we're doing right now. We're still following up on leads. It is still an active investigation. This is not a cold case, Madeline Kochikori case. Okay, thank you, Paige. And hopefully they find Madalena too. Let's see, I hear karma. I always hear karma to the main stage. One second, I just need to answer a message back. Do you pirate radio? I try not to do it too often, but usually if I cuss the internet, it always comes back up. I always start
Right
talking.
when you're cussing.
Right, it never fails. Okay, so let me see what the next one is because I do have a couple of different updates on some of these. The little 6-year-old boy,
Oh,
Noel Rodriguez. So there is, fill me in where
is that the one
the one
with the
that,
cage?
wait, with the what?
Cage?
No, no, I haven't looked into that one. This is the one where he hasn't been seen since November. He's from Texas. He hasn't been seen since November. Family members called CPS. They go out and talk to the mama. The mama tells them that he's in Mexico with his bio dad. So they go track down the bio dad in Mexico. The dad says he's not here. I was deported before he was born. I've never even met him. So CPS goes and uh, the agency that keeps up with the deportation papers and all that, and he was telling the truth. He was deported back to Mexico before the baby was born. He never met him, uh, so they knew she was lying. Well, she ends up that between the time that they interviewed her about where the little boy was at and the day that they issued the Amber Alert, she packs up her husband, and her 6 kids, and they hop on a flight. And they found where they had landed in Turkey, but they ended up flying into India because her husband is an immigrant from India. and it was 6 kids on there, and they said that Lil Noel was not on that flight. But allegedly, there was someone on the flight with him that calls police and says that they were on the flight with them and that they had a disabled child with them. Now, I don't know if they have another child that has a disability or if it possibly was him, but they're saying that Lil Noel was not on there. And then there's a rumor that has come out that they think that the family might have sold him. And that police are saying that they have absolutely no evidence that he is deceased, which doesn't mean he's not, but they are just saying that they have no evidence of it. And now there has been a warrant issued for the mama. Hey, Jody, it's cool. How are you? Okay, wait, I gotta go back up. I missed a comment. Where the heck did it go? The cussing part. Okay. And I've seen somebody else come in. Jen, how are you? That is true. Don't have time for any bullshit. Jen C, how are you? Okay, I think I've said hi to everybody. I want to make sure I haven't missed anyone. Oh yeah, and I did see that too. We were all thinking she had 7 kids. Noelle and then the 6 siblings that went with her on the flight. She actually has 10 kids total. Hey Jules, how are you? 3 of her kids live with their grandmother. I'm going through my email real quick so I can try to find the article because it tells like the whole story about it. Because a lot of it, what I had read to begin with, I didn't even know about. They were living in this, like they take these sheds, like an Ahern building, and they turn it into like a little mini house or tiny house or whatever. She was actually living behind this other house in this shed. Her and her husband and the 7 kids. And it's like not big at all. There was only 2 beds in it. And police said that whenever they got there, one of the beds had been like flipped upside down.
Scarlett, what's Scott talking about? 3 bodies
Scott, let me find Scott.
found and gagged.
Okay, so 3 bodies found, bound, gagged, and shot in Ohio. Footage from March 10th, and another body found in another location. I hope they found the person responsible. I haven't heard of this. So when did this come out?
Are you there, Scarlett?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Another one I wanted to bring up to you. Someone had said on the on one of the YouTube videos had made a comment that in reference to Truckee or that part of California, that this is the time of year where bodies surface. And they have found a couple lately. So I don't know if they're going to be attributed to skiing accidents or what the hell are going to be attributed to, but
can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure because my internet went out again.
I don't know if you heard me, but
yeah, I could hear you fine.
So, Marissa said they made an arrest in the Ohio 3 bodies.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of that case that they're talking about with the one in Ohio.
Uh-oh.
What?
Vapor's comment.
Okay, wait, hold on. Because my daughter's girlfriend's aunt was found in Akron a couple of weeks ago. Oh, that is sad. Okay, this was in Winston-Salem this morning about 10 a.m. this morning. I seen it was an active shooter, but I missed the 5 p.m. update. Campus was on lockdown. Was it Boomer Girl? Was it a college or like a high school or whatever? Okay, let me go because White Little Baby says she sent me a link. Let me see what this is. Okay. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't hear about the Ohio one.
No, I think there's so many of them surfacing lately that it's kind of hard to keep up with.
Okay, so this is okay. 2-year-old missing, found mom dead. Yeah. Idaho Flower, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. It's in the Facebook group. Give me just a second. Let's see. Okay, White Widow Baby, this is the one you're talking about, right? Yeah, if my internet don't start cooperating, I'm gonna be upset. A kid accidentally shot himself in the hands. It wasn't a shooting. Idaho Flower Lover, where was that at that you're talking about? Oh, now Roger, I did see where a bunch of the schools were getting swatted. After the whole Nashville shooting the other day, which is crazy too. And dangerous. Hey Dreamcatcher, how are you? Okay, so all right, and Judy, if I start cutting out, just let me know, okay, while I'm reading this, because
Yep.
I won't be able to pay attention to my internet box.
I'll tell you.
Oh, here's the letter. All right, so it says, and this is on Little Noel. There is, I don't know if I can pull this up. Let me see if this is going to show y'all. Probably not. Can y'all see the picture of the house?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the shed that they were living in. The mom and the stepdad and all the kids. Okay, let me get back to the article. So it says the owner of the home where missing Texas child's family lived says that parents are good people. Obviously not. So the man with whom the family of the missing 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez Alvarez lived in Everman describes the mother and the stepfather as caring and kind, saying the parents spoiled their 7 children and made sure that they were never in need. Then where is this baby at? So police say that the boy hasn't been seen since November, but authorities weren't alerted that he was missing until about a week ago. According to Everman police, Noel's mother lied to investigators about her son being with his father in Mexico. She, her husband, and the 6 other children that they are raising left the country 2 days before an Amber Alert was issued for Noel on Saturday. Charles Parson, 71, owns the Everman home behind which the family was staying in a converted shed in the 3700 block of Wisteria Drive. Parson told the Star Telegram on Tuesday that he believes Cindy Rodriguez Singh and her husband Arshdeep Singh, I'll probably mispronounce his name, y'all, acted out of panic when they took Noel's 6 siblings and left the United States on a flight bound for Turkey. Well, if they're such good people, then why lie about where the baby's at? So Everman Police Chief Greg Spencer said at a news conference on Tuesday afternoon that the investigation so far has not found evidence of what happened to Noel or whether a crime was committed. His mother and stepfather took the 6 other children on a Turkish Airways flight to Istanbul on Tuesday, according to police. Spencer said the flight was meant to connect to India, where Arshdeep Singh is originally from, but authorities aren't yet certain of the family's final destination. Parson said that neither Rodriguez Singh nor her husband made any indication to him that they were planning to leave the country, but he believes that the mother was afraid of losing her children. He said that a period of a couple of years back when her kids were taken out of her custody almost broke her completely. He said that he can't imagine Rodriguez Singh would ever do anything to harm Noelle. Rodriguez Singh moved in with Parson about 10 years ago. He said that she was sleeping in a car outside of his house, and he told her that she could stay with him. He was alone in the house and had 2 empty bedrooms. So soon, he said, Rodriguez Singh became a family member to him. He became her adoptive grandfather. She was never charged rent, but would help with bills and help care for Parson when he had medical needs. He can't recall a time when he was the one to buy food for the house since she moved in. Parson and the family would regularly eat meals together, and he got to know all of them well, he said. Parson described Rodriguez Singh as hard-headed and opinionated, but kind at heart. Singh, he said, cared about his wife and all the children and would spoil them with clothes and toys. The family had problems like any other, Parson said, but from everything that he saw, they truly cared about each other. Still don't explain where the baby's at. He recalled one time when a child was being bullied at school. The 2 parents went to the school and refused to leave until they were certain that the child was safe and wouldn't face any more harassment. The mother and the children at first lived in the house with Parson. When Cindy and Archdeep got married, the husband bought the family a building that Parson allowed them to put in the backyard. It has electricity and air conditioning, but no bathroom. Parson said the back door to his home was always unlocked so the family could come and go as they pleased and use the bathroom and the shower in the house. The family also still used the 2 extra bedrooms inside Parson's home. Singh also bought the children a playset and a trampoline that were set up in the backyard. So Noelle is a shy boy but sweet, Parson said. Because of his disabilities, it can be difficult for his parents to care for him sometimes, but they always did their best. According to authorities, Noelle's disability included a chronic lung disease that requires medical treatment and occasional oxygen treatment. He had never been enrolled in school, according to the police. When Noelle's half-siblings, twins who are now 5 months old, came along, things got a little tougher. Hey, Ray, how are you? Parson said that Noelle was jealous of the twins and sometimes would refuse to eat anything, leading him to occasionally becoming dangerously thin. Around November, he said, Rodriguez Singh told him that she tried to send Noelle to his father in Mexico so he could receive more special attention, but the father either couldn't or didn't want to take him in. But Rodriguez Singh told Parson the father's sister agreed to take him in. So Parson said that he isn't sure where Noelle's aunt lives, but believes that it is in Mexico. Police say that they're investigating whether Noelle may be with any other relatives that they haven't spoken with yet. Police have said that Rodriguez Singh told investigators when they first asked about Noelle on March the 20th that he was living with his father in Mexico. The father had been deported at some point before Noelle was born, but investigators were able to get in touch with him. The father told authorities that he did not know where Noelle was and that he had never been able to meet his son, and police said that they verified his statement. So when police were unable to find Noelle, they issued an Amber Alert and later an Endangered Missing Person Alert. Police say that Rodriguez Singh avoided their attempts to contact her after the initial welfare check on March the 20th. Dreamcatcher, thank you so much for becoming a member and welcome to the family. Parson and Noelle's biological father, I think they meant Parson said Noelle's biological father, had cooperated with they both did. They both cooperated with the investigation, and Parson gave them permission to search his property. The day before the family left the U.S., Singh drove Parson to the hospital for a medical operation. Parson told the Star-Telegram. Parson was expecting the family to pick him up afterwards, but every time he tried to call the parents, he got a message that their phones had been disconnected. Well, that shows how much he cared about the old man, too. So, police have said that Rodriguez Singh had a history of investigations and actions taken by CPS, along with an extensive history of alcohol-related crimes. Parson said Tuesday that Rodriguez Singh and had her children taken away. She crashed into a pole about 2 years ago with the children in the car. She was drunk, Parsons said. He told the Star-Telegram that she had been on probation for the last 2 years, was required to do random daily breathalyzer tests, and hadn't had any alcohol since she started probation. She had 10 children total, the 7 she had custody of, and the 3 who lived with their grandmother, according to Everman police. Court records show that Rodriguez Singh was sentenced to 10 years of probation in 2020 for a felony repeat conviction of driving while intoxicated. Tarrant County court records indicate a petition was filed Tuesday to revoke her probation. Police say that they issued a warrant for Rodriguez Singh on a charge of filing a false report. Okay, and then the article is by James Hartley, so that's why his name is down there. So,
Well, I don't know about, in her defense, if I had 10 kids, I'd be drinking too.
but I mean, this guy is sitting here defending her, saying he don't think she would hurt her kids. Well, if she wouldn't do anything bad to her kids, then why lie about where this little boy's at?
Well, didn't you say earlier in the live that somebody said on the plane that there was a disabled child with them?
That's what has been said. I think the police are looking into it. Now, like I said, if maybe she had another child that had a disability as well. But they said that his name, there was only 6 kids that was on the flight, and his name wasn't one of them.
Mm. Well, I guess I'd be looking for that alleged sister
Right.
of the father.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're saying, they're looking for other relatives that they haven't talked to that he could be with. Maybe that's where he's at, is with the dad's sister. She's telling the police and CPS that the little boy is with his dad in Mexico, but then she's telling this old man here that she was staying on his property, that she tried to send him down there, but the dad didn't want him.
Well, so that's probably more accurate than.
Yeah, I mean, she's told multiple stories.
Well, I don't know, but I think we're getting same stupid pet trick. The other thing, it's kind of hysterical. She must have been really paranoid about losing her children, because going to India
Right.
is not a step up.
No, it's not. And that's where all of her husband's family is. And if he was on that flight, and they were using one of the other kids' names for him, and they do something to him over in India, police will never find that little boy.
Well, yeah, but that raises the question of who wasn't on the plane.
Yeah. Can we listen? Yes, I can grab the third presser. Cheryl, have a good night. Okay, let me go grab it real quick. Let me delete this email. I gotta make sure I delete all my emails as I do them, because if not, they get all bunched up. Okay, so let's see, that's first, second, right here, 328. See, look, if he didn't do something to the boy, they wouldn't have. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was saying. This old man's defending them and saying they're good people and they wouldn't hurt him and all this and that. Well, then why lie about where he's at and all that? Why leave the country? I mean, he should have seen Mr. Parsons. He should have seen how much she cared about him. He let her live on his property all these years and stay in his house and all this and that. She takes him to the hospital to have a procedure done, and then don't even come back and pick him up. She just leaves him there. Okay. All right, give me a second, because it's kind of a long presser. It's like 30 minutes long, but I gotta find, or the total video is like 30 minutes long. I gotta find though where the police actually come out to talk. So we don't have to sit and wait on that. Okay. All right. Hopefully my internet does fine with this. Yeah, I think the old man's brainwashed too. And that's sad because him saying
People do a
that
lot for them.
he was saying, that he was like a godfather to her and considered her family because he was there by himself and all that. And then she turns around and does him that way as well. Okay, so I got it to the part where the guy comes out. Okay.
Are you there, Scarlett?
Wait, what is it?
I just asked if you were there.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm just muted while it's playing.
It's nothing's playing, hon.
Why is it not? What the hell?
That's why I asked if you were there.
So why is it bringing up something completely different?
You got me.
Oh my God. Bunch of bullshit, Judy. That's what it is.
Well, that's right.
Why is it not? Okay.
Here's a quarter. God damn a
Run me
bear.
back. It's ridiculous. Okay. All right. Is it up now?
Yep.
Okay.
I see the picture anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fixing to play it. But while it's playing, I'm gonna mute out. So.
Okay, okay.
Sure. Yeah. Just check 1, 2. Can you hear me okay? Just checking the mic. Can you hear me okay? Testing, testing, testing. Doesn't look like anybody else is coming in. So good afternoon. I appreciate everybody coming out today. Today, I just wanted to give you an update of what our investigative team is doing. And then, of course, make myself available to answer any questions. I did get some answers from some questions that were asked yesterday I didn't have. So I've got some updated information there. First off, our investigators today have spent the majority of their time combing through the many documents and items that were removed from the home and the vehicle last night. Again, just trying to trace back any potential leads of where Noelle's at. So they've been combing through all kinds of documents, sorting out and building timelines on trying to confirm when the last time that we have seen Noelle or anybody has seen Noelle. Again, the timeline is for us from the family is last seen in November of 2022. We're trying to narrow that timeline down and see when we can last prove that he was last seen. So our investigative staff has been working on that. And they're also working with another team of investigators that has stepped up to help us out. And that's been truly helpful with the resources that they've been able to bring to the table. One of the questions that was asked yesterday was in relation to the how Cindy knew the property owner and how long she had lived there. This is one of those situations where I think the property owner was truly just a generous guy trying to help somebody out in need at the time. I was able to learn that Cindy has resided at that house for the last 9 years. That shed was only built a couple of years ago, so for part of the time, obviously, she was living inside prior to being moved outside into the shed where her family has grown. You do the math. 9 years ago, we've still got a few kids that weren't born at the time, so the family has obviously grown, which is probably why they had the shed built to kind of expand out that way. The searches yesterday revealed a lot of documents and some things that we're checking out. We've got several more leads that have come in, so we want to keep everybody on top of sending those tips in. We've had a lot of former friends of the family that have called us, and a lot of people who have interacted with the family that have called us, and that information has been incredibly useful. That information has been incredibly useful in this investigation. If you can't tell, it's been a long few days that we're all getting really exhausted. So I'm thankful for the help that we've got stepping up to the plate with us now. So I'll be happy to answer any other questions that y'all may have or may have developed overnight. Sure. Yeah, that was one of our missions today. That was on our task list today, was to retrace our steps and again go visit with everybody. Our investigative team has been out doing that today, not just checking to see if Noel's there, but also talking with him again and asking questions again and seeing if we find anything different or anything new that may pop up. So we've had detectives out today visiting with family members. And we've had investigators talking to family members over the phone again today in Mexico, retracing those steps as well. So none of that has proved to provide any new information, but just reiterate what we already know, and that's that they don't have Noel. Yeah, I don't, without revealing too much of the investigation, we think that those were coached statements that were provided to us and not necessarily with an intent on the individual providing those statements to us of being deceitful, but just the fact that they were coached to tell us that. We believe the mother to try to steer us. Correct. Yeah.
Transition, we have a warrant, an arrest warrant about false information being given in a missing person report. Has this shifted more toward a criminal investigation?
Yeah. So, we got to be. I want to be very careful as we proceed with this. This is obviously becoming more and more concerning. We're on day 5 since we've been notified of this and have been working this as a police department. So I want to be very careful as we proceed about how much I state regarding the investigation itself. Because I certainly don't want to hinder any prosecution that may come from this. And I can tell you the teams that are on here, yes, it is swinging more towards a criminal investigation. We do have supporting circumstantial evidence and things that are leading us that direction. So we're certainly taking that path. I mentioned the other day that we haven't had any physical evidence that has come up. That doesn't mean that we're not doing our job and that we're not going out there and pursuing what we need to be pursuing. It just means that the physical evidence hasn't been present. There's certainly a significant amount of circumstantial evidence. I mean, when we talk about the circumstances surrounding this case, everybody's suspicion rises, and that's what we do as a police department. Obviously, our suspicion has rose as well, so we have to dig deeper, and everything we've been coming across primarily has been circumstantial evidence. So, we're doing things now with this investigation to obtain more physical evidence, more concrete evidence through other means, data collection, and those sorts of things that we traditionally do in law enforcement. And now we've got the support to do that, so we're happy to move that forward. Sure.
Does that enable you to interact with federal liaison more so to maybe pursue where you believe they are?
Yeah, sure. So we're actively engaged now with our federal partners at Homeland Security. We began engagement earlier today with the FBI. We are starting to work with other partners on this. Everman is obviously still the lead on this, but we're working with them and we have their support on that. The arrest warrant itself doesn't play too much into that. The charge that the arrest warrant's issued for is obviously for a false report regarding a missing child. That's a misdemeanor in the state of Texas, so that doesn't really throw a whole bunch of red flags up as far as getting federal assistance, or when we start talking about extradition. I don't think we're going to do cross country extradition on a misdemeanor warrant out of Texas. But there's also a probation violation warrant. There's other things that are moving this forward. The evidence that we've been collecting, the circumstantial evidence, and there's things I just can't go into regarding it for the protection of the investigation, but the circumstantial evidence that's coming up is certainly amounting to a level that becomes criminal. And so it's giving us the ammunition that we need to be able to keep pressing this forward. Like I mentioned the other day, that's the whole point in us wanting to be as meticulous as we can with these searches and going back and double checking and triple checking and making sure that we're as thorough as we can be, is to find, even if it is circumstantial evidence, enough circumstantial evidence to give us the ammunition we need to push this forward. Yes. We've been making that request within the last hour. Yes. Yep. No, so we've had great groups step up. Law enforcement in not just in DFW, but all across the state. We work well together. And so we've had investigative specialists from other agencies that have offered to step up. We've had groups from other agencies that have offered to step up and assist us with this. So the investigative team is really, really broad. We're talking, not just local level, but state level, now federal level that are becoming a part of this. And truly, it's really formed into really a task force consisting of investigators that all specialize in these kind of very convoluted and problematic cases that are traditionally hard to investigate. So we're happy to have anybody within the field that has an expertise in this field to come to the table and be a part of the solution here. Because ultimately the goal is to find the well, right? I know it's stemming from a previous offense unrelated to this. I don't know if it's specifically a car accident. I believe it's a DWI. Whether it involved an accident or not, I'm not entirely sure. Our agency wasn't involved in that charge. I don't know. I'm being very careful about how I want to speculate on this. Human trafficking is very real. I talked about that rumor yesterday. Human trafficking is very real. It's very real in Texas as a border state. We can't rule out that possibility. We can't rule out the possibility I think we've all been fearing for the last several days. We also can't rule out the extensiveness of this family and that we haven't been able to identify maybe a family member that she has refused to name that this child may be with. There's a lot of holes within the answers that we've been getting as a part of this investigation that we've just got to continue to fill. So I'm just not ready to really speculate just yet on what I think has happened to Noel. I'm still very optimistic. I said that yesterday, and I'm going to continue to be optimistic until I find evidence otherwise. Sure. So he not coming this way, but he is being very cooperative and very helpful with us as we're conversing with him over the phone. We have engaged with him even today. So he's helping us out quite a bit and sharing any information that he can regarding this. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry. Sure.
Shed-like structure behind the house. I know it looks like they had access inside the main house for a while. Living in that main house before the shed was built, but they've been there for years, and it's been 9 years. It seems like social services had to have known that was the circumstances. Is there a lack of oversight, or is something missed? Is there a red flag that, hey, why are these kids living in this type of environment without so much stress in this shed? Just what's your takeaway?
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate on another agency and how they've operated. I don't know if these kids were under supervision. I don't know what the programs were involved with CPS. This is our first time engaging with this family as a police department, or being engaged in an investigation with this family as a police department. So it's really hard, not knowing all the details and the prior history, to sit here and try to judge their actions, and I'm not going to do that. I can tell you that CPI or CPS has been extremely helpful in this case, and we've been working with them. We've been working with Alliance for Children and those organizations. They're obviously sharing their data, they're sharing their insight, they're sharing their beliefs and their experience, and they're at the table right here with us, trying to find a resolution to this case here. So I don't know anything about the prior incidents. And it's certainly not my place to judge what another judge or what a judge may have ordered or what decisions were made there.
See, his picture is on the marquee up front.
Sure.
So you think he's local? You think he's out of Texas, out of the country at this point?
I wish I had an answer for you. I don't know. And we've gotten tips all over the state, and we've received tips. We got a tip the other night from Georgia that he might have been seen. We've received tips today from places like Ozona and San Antonio of people who believe that they may have saw him. And that's what we want. And we're checking into those. Every single one that comes in, we're following up, and we're sending police out to go confirm or deny what's going on. I don't know. And that I wish I had more information there for you. I really do. Any assistance that they can provide. So they'll come in and they'll review the case with us, and they'll make sure that their assets and resources, whatever they've got, will be available to us. Yes. Yeah. Well, I think the difference is the authority. So for us to be involved, typically when we respond to a welfare check, we're just checking on the welfare of an individual. If we don't see anything that provides any reasonable suspicion or probable cause that a crime is being committed, typically that's where our role stops. If we see signs that there may be a crime being committed or somebody might be in danger, obviously we would continue. The officer didn't see any of those signs indicated on the initial welfare check. CPS that's a completely different arm from law enforcement. They're not law enforcement. They have different authority than law enforcement does, and they specialize in what they do. They've got a whole different way of operating than police departments do. So typically when we have a welfare check that comes in, it's law enforcement that goes out and does the check. We look for any initial signs of any danger or confirm or deny whether somebody's at that site. And then CPS typically will make a decision based off that information, whether to make the scene and work with us or to follow up on the information that was provided, which was the case on this incident. We've got no leads on where he could be, and so there's no reason to believe he would be at the airport. And until we find some sort of evidence to give us a direction on where he may be, again, I'm not convinced he's dead. And I think that's where a lot of this stuff goes. We don't know that he hasn't been involved in human trafficking. We don't know that he hasn't been given to a family member. We just haven't been able to identify. We're still chasing down all those leads. Now, if I get pointed in a specific direction, then of course we'll start expanding on that direction. But right now I can't focus all of our energy on the direction and belief that he may be deceased when he very well may be alive, and we just need to find him. Sure. And we have been working on that. I can't disclose too much about that as it's a part of the investigation, but obviously our federal partners have a lot more leadway there than we do. And we'll look to them to give us that information. Yeah, so in one of those photos that we shared, you see him sitting in front of the couch. And if you look very closely in that photo, you'll actually see his nebulizer right there over his shoulder, right there in the couch. I mean, he had chronic lung disease. He requires treatment. He requires, albuterol treatments and so forth, and oxygen at times. And I think that's been the primary health concern that we've had is he getting that treatment? Obviously, that in our mind is the most dangerous thing that he suffers from, that he needs to get the treatment for. He suffers from other disabilities and things like social disorders and developmental delays and those sorts of things. But obviously, the oxygen is the number one concern, and we don't know if he's getting that right now or not. Oh, I hope so. Sure. Come back and tell me what the heck's going on. I mean, I don't understand. It makes no sense. And then I think we're all on the same page here. Why a mother would abscond, when we're trying to just check on the welfare of her child and while we're getting no information. This is a simple investigation in my mind. We're just trying to check the welfare of a child. Just tell us where the child is and let's check on the welfare. If everything's good, we're good. We move on. And that's not the case, and that's not what happened here. Sure. Yeah, we have not identified any family here in North Texas or in the state at all. We have identified some friends of his, and we have been in communication with them, and they've been cooperating with law enforcement to what they know, but it hasn't led to much. That I don't know. Do we have an answer on that? No. I'll have that for you at the next one. Sure. Yeah, I've tried not to convolute this too much because it's so hard to follow. Cindy does have 10 children that we know about. So the 7 children were residing with her. She has 3 additional children that reside with her grandmother. Those children we've obviously been talking with them. They're still here in North Texas. We've obviously been talking with them, and they're, of course, a part of this investigation. Let me make sure I'm clear there. They're part of the investigation, and we've been talking with them and the other family up here. What I don't know, because I know your questions are going to be is why do they live with grandmother, and we're looking at that. It looks like it's all been voluntary and part of the agreement. Why the decision was made that 3 of them will reside with grandmother while the other 7 reside with Cindy. We just don't have all those answers, and we're still trying to get to all those answers. And it's hard to get to all of them when you're missing, so many of the people involved. Yeah, so I can't comment on previous CPS investigations, so I can't talk about that portion of it. But what I will tell you is DFPS certainly has a seat at the table every single day that we're conducting this investigation, and they're right there with us. Sure. Yeah. So we've got partners at DFW DPS who we've been working with on obtaining those videos and things. We actually, one of the tipsters that called in was actually on the flight with the family, and we've been able to converse with her about the interactions there and what she witnessed. So we have been chasing down those leads and have talked to those folks, and we're working with DFW DPS on obtaining the videos, and they're tracking down any other potential leads that might be at the airport for us as well. And I'm sure a lot of the people that were on that flight are probably seeing the news from here and seeing what's going on, and we'd love to talk to more. If anybody else was on that flight or anybody else saw anything at the airport, we'd love to chat about it. I'd love to hear the insight there. I can confirm he is not undocumented. He is here legally, and there's no issues there. Is there concerns about them coming back? Well, yeah. When you flee the country and we're investigating a situation like this, yeah, there's a deep concern they may not come back, and so we've got to keep that in our mind too, which is where that federal partnership will come into play. If charges do arise from this and we get a criminal offense out of this, then certainly we'll pursue that. When a warrant is issued, as soon as a warrant is issued, she'll be a fugitive.
We've all seen the story of the boy or girl who was just never found.
Right.
What is the protocol or the timeline to just this is old?
Well, we're nowhere near that point right now. I mean, we still have a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of information to track down. We've still got a lot of options left. So we're nowhere near that point. And to answer your question of when that time comes, the answer is when we've exhausted absolutely every possibility that we can come up with to try. When everything's exhausted, then at that point. But we've still got a long ways to go before we get there. No, there's no clock, and we're not working on a clock. And all the investigators that are on this case are obviously committed to finding out a resolution to this case, and we're not going to stop doing what we're doing until we figure out what happened. No criminal history that we have. No, ma'am. Absolutely insane. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. I think everybody that lives here now and has lived here for a long time just absolutely cannot believe this. We've all been looking. This is one of those stories where, you know, in law enforcement, we hear a lot of things that come in and we're like, that didn't happen. And come to find out it didn't. You know, we find the truth behind it. And I think at first this was one of those where, oh, come on, that didn't happen. And then we start looking into it. And of course, I think everybody feels the same as us, that we're just shocked that this happened here. You know, Everman is a tight-knit community. She was tight-knit with her neighbors. And I know that y'all have been out talking to some of the neighbors and you've heard some of the stories and things. You know, she was close to some of the neighbors, and even the neighbors had some positive things to say about her and the family and the kids. So you know, it's really hard to believe. I can tell you that I think the community is a little shaken by this, a little shocked at what's happened here. And you know, they're behind us 100%. They want us to find the resolution as well. So. Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, if nobody brought in that anonymous tip, whoever that person was that submitted that anonymous tip to CPS, so we wouldn't be here today, and we still wouldn't know where Noelle is. And at least now we've got, you know, officers and investigators on the trail to figure out what went on. So, you know, that information is really important, and we preach that a lot in our community. And I'm really proud. I hate to get off on a whole different tangent, but I'm really proud about the relationship that our police department has with our community. We've got a phenomenal relationship with our community, and we get calls all the time, and our officers are out engaging with the residents. A lot of the residents know our officers by name, and they engage all the time. So it's good to have that relationship. I know that relationship isn't across the board everywhere, but I think here in Everman, because of that relationship, we're able to get more information faster, and it allows us to typically, in most cases, you know, resolve issues pretty promptly. Sure. Yeah. Saw the news. Saw the news media putting out the information, and then contacted our Everman Police Department main line and spoke directly with one of our detectives on the case. I'm not going to do that just yet, just because it's part of the investigation. Sure. Yeah, so March 20th, we received the information from CPS and the request to conduct a welfare check at Noelle's residence on the 3700 block of Wisteria. We later learned that on March 21st, the family had obtained electronic travel visas for the family. The officer at the time of the welfare check, he was advised that Noelle was with his father in Mexico, so we forwarded that information back. Then on March 21st, we learned that they obtained electronic travel visa. On March 23rd is when CPS contacted us back and informed us that they have checked out the information that Cindy provided related to the father. They have spoken directly to the father and advised that the father does not have Noelle. And we've been able to confirm that information or verify that there's no transport data back and forth across the border through Homeland Security indicating that Noelle's been to Mexico. On that evening, the 23rd, that evening on the 23rd, I don't have my notes in front of me. That evening on the 23rd is when investigators began looking into this. The 24th is when we attempted to make contact with Cindy. We learned that Cindy had removed her children from school. We learned a lot more information about, how it started to appear that she may have absconded with a child. And on the 24th is when we made the decision to go ahead and start putting out the statewide alerts. We worked with the Texas Fusion Center, which is in charge of the statewide alert system. They're in charge of administering that system. At the time, the circumstances surrounding this case are so unique, and I think we can all agree that the circumstances here are very strange and very unique, that they felt an Amber Alert was warranted in this case, so we issued an Amber Alert. Shortly after that, I think less than 24 hours later, we learned that the family was on an international flight from DFW Airport to Turkey on Turkish Airways. I think it was Flight 192. That's on the 25th, yeah. No, I'm sorry. The flight was on the 23rd. Yeah, they flew out on the 23rd. They had flown out before the Amber Alert was issued, which is why they weren't flagged at the airport. We've been asked that. They flew out because they left country before the Amber Alert was issued. Correct. Sure. Yeah. And there is documentation to show that Cindy is the sole custodial parent of those kids, with the exception of the 2 5-month-olds, but father was with the 2 5-month-olds as well. You guys tell me. I'll keep you updated as much as I can and when y'all want. So really, you tell me. I'm going to be as transparent as I can throughout this investigation, and I'll be happy to share any updates. That's fine. That's okay. Yeah, I got it. So we are engaged with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and that's one of the largest associations out there. And they have a lot of ties with us, and we're working directly with them. They have a seat at the table right there with us as a part of this investigation. So they're taking all this information for us, and they're disseminating it to the other groups to help find missing people. I know that this case has drawn a lot of national attention from missing groups and true crime groups and all those organizations, and we love having them on board with this because they're just sharing that information out and putting his face out front. And we love having them a part of this, and definitely look forward to their cooperation and support in finding him as well. Well, again, if we find a lead on where he may be, absolutely. I mean, I think again, we're steering towards that he might be deceased, and I'm not convinced that he's deceased yet. Of course, if we get information that points us in that direction, absolutely, we'll be more than happy to organize searches, and we would love to have these groups be a part of that and go out and find him. But we have no information to lead us to that opinion yet. All right, thank y'all.
Well, wasn't that refreshing?
Yes, and I'm actually glad that he did give credit to the true crime groups and didn't complain about them or anything else. He was very appreciative of social media sharing this little boy's face.
And anything that they could do to help.
Right. So
I wonder how that works.
We haven't heard that.
Wonder how that works, Scarlett.
I don't know. I like that dude though. I like how he did the presser. I like how instead of him just coming out and saying what he knew and then that was it and he leaves, maybe take a question or two, he literally just answered questions. And I think like that, he might have got more information out.
And he said when they asked when they were going to do another presser, and he goes, "When do you want one?"
Right. Now,
what a concept.
Right. They were going to do one today, but then they decided not to because they really didn't have any new information. So that's the reason why they didn't. So at least he's going to stay on top of it and keep everybody updated.
Okay, so here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody know off the top of your head how much it costs to get an electronic passport?
No.
That's number one. Number two is, anybody have any clue what it would cost to fly all those people to India?
When I looked it up the other day, and I did it from DFW, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, and I only did it from DFW to Istanbul, where they're saying that they landed. It was a nonstop flight. I believe a little over $1,600.
A piece?
Yes. Now I can't say how much it would be all the way to India because I don't know what part of India. I would assume it would be more, but that was just to Turkey, 16, and that's for the nonstop flight. They did have other flights that had like a layover here or maybe two.
Yeah, but you stop and think.
Like, where did they get this money?
That's right. I mean, I know that they claimed earlier in the story that she provided all the food for her family, which was extremely commendable. But this guy that was helping her didn't have to bear that burden. And so I don't know. I can't imagine her having a job with all those kids. So I don't know.
I don't know if maybe her husband had family, like because he has family in India. I don't know. Maybe they sent them money for the tickets or what. I looked it up. It was.
Yeah,
$600 per person.
it's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money. That's not even counting the passports.
Right. Now, I believe, and just from me looking up when we were doing, I was looking up some other cases, and I would look like flight like that.
You're breaking up a little bit. Scarlett, are you there?
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Internet went out for a second. But anyway, when I had looked up another flight before, it asked how many adults there is and how many kids. But I don't like if you have kids, obviously they're going to take a seat up. I don't know if you get it at a cheaper price for their ticket or not.
Not if they use a seat.
So $1,600.
16-hour flight. I would imagine you had to bring a car seat with you.
Yeah, I think the one that I looked up was 11 hours and 50 minutes. I think that's the nonstop flight one. I think it was 11, right at 12 hours.
Well, I've flown for 8 hours to go to Germany.
Oh Lord.
Out of New York, and I'm telling you right now, it is a long flight.
I can't imagine being on a plane for that long.
And when we came home to get my daughter adoption papers finalized through the States, we caught a few military hops coming back, and then we jumped on a plane and did that. And then when we went back, we just bought a ticket out of New York again and flew directly to New York and to Germany. I'm telling you, it's a long flight. And when you have a kid with you,
makes it seem that it's longer than it actually is.
I had one child with me in a bag of toys.
Oh wow.
And
can you imagine 6 kids?
I told you I'd be drinking worse than that woman. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. Because we didn't know that 3 of them were with her grandmother. But you stop and think about it. Even if she had 6 kids with her and 2 adults, that's 8 people. If they had a big cab truck, where do you put 8 people? I mean, I'm sorry, that just doesn't add up, the numbers for seatbelts.
I'm about to get kicked.
Well, are you now? Well, kick back.
I know you're not just saying.
Oh, she's starting to get squirrely. Well, Troll's in the room, so I'm sure she can fuss at him and get this thing going. I got kicked. Yeah, I just fill in the spot so she doesn't lose her life.
Okay, I'm back.
There she is.
Okay, yeah, I knew I was about to get kicked because you were breaking up real bad.
Yep. You were breaking up too, so.
Okay, somebody had. Let me find it. Uh, well, I think it was Vapor. Okay, so Vapor, yes, they said that they flew into Istanbul. I'm sure they got a connecting flight from there into India. I don't know if they flew from Istanbul to somewhere else and then into India or how they did it, but that was their first stop.
Well,
was what mean?
Going to Istanbul is I'd rather go to Chucky. I mean, seriously.
Is it that bad?
Well, the old man he was stationed near short term for a year, and he told me some stories that, not a place where he wanted me to be. As much as he wanted me there with him, it wasn't a place he thought that I'd function well in, whatever that meant. And I didn't question it.
Right.
It was short term, so I just sucked it up and dealt with it. But like I said, when you go to a foreign country as military, and you are military dependents, you must figure out a way to fit in. You're either going to fit in with the landscape or you're going to buck it all the way. And Istanbul was the place where the female culture is really different, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Where Germany is not like that, and
Oh my Lord, could she really have gotten $30,000 in taxes with 10 kids?
I don't know. Depends how much they made in money.
Good Lord. Y'all just like making fun of my accent, don't y'all?
Who?
Crime Crazy and White Little Baby.
How are they making fun of you?
Because I wasn't saying Istanbul. I wasn't pronouncing it right.
Well, I caught that, and I just figured I'd say it out loud to.
I pronounce.
Well, you pronounced what you saw, so, well, big deal. I knew what you're talking about. And I think we're losing you again. Oh, yes, we did. Maybe that's why she named her channel Lost. Oh, here she's coming back. Well, if you throw it out the window, you're really not going to get any good reception.
How the hell do I have two of me up here?
because you probably got disconnected and you came back in, and
Yeah,
you're that important.
like literally as soon as I came back in, I got kicked again. This is crazy. Hold on.
Well, you're that important.
Well, this is annoying. Okay, maybe I'm good now.
There you go.
Oh, and now I gotta sneeze.
Oh, you got more pickles on the screen. My God, your mods went crazy.
Let's see. At a cheap flights, an adult ticket to Istanbul is as low as 260. Okay, so and that's out of Dallas Fort Worth on the Turkish airline. Hey, must have got lost. How are you? Because when I looked it up, it was through Dallas Fort Worth, which is where they're saying that they flew out of, and I went to the Turkish Airlines and did it from there.
Well, in any event, they sure picked a good place to go where their butt wouldn't get caught right off quick.
Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, though, we do have a extradition treaty with India. So if they get called over there, then they can be brought back here.
Well, I would imagine so. India's so packed that they don't want anybody extra.
Right. Yeah, I've seen videos of people driving over there, and I'm just thinking like, oh my God, like I couldn't do it. Cars and
Yes.
motorcycles.
Some of their
all
living
that.
conditions are one room.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
With several family members and probably multi-generational families.
yeah,
Kids, parents, grandparents, a great grandparent in there.
yeah. Well, in any event, there's, well, she must have been fearing something to go to all those means to go poof. April's checking on something.
Yeah, the prices on a flight on the Turkish airline. Oh, my flipping internet again. Anyway, can y'all still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. But he was saying that she was scared of having her kids taken away from her, which any mother or most mothers would fear that. But if she didn't do anything with him,
Well, here's another thing I think about. You said in the back of the picture you could see a nebulizer or something. Are you there? Okay. In the oh, wait a second.
okay, this
In the back of the picture there was a nebulizer or something you said, and if she sent him off to his father's sister, wouldn't she send medical equipment with him?
I would hope she would. Because the officer was right. There is a picture of him.
Okay, I don't hear you. So next time you come in, if there's two of you, leave the two of you in here. Because one of you is lying. There she is.
One more time, y'all.
Don't get rid of the two of you.
I'm gonna get upset. Let me see if I.
You already did it. Yeah,
okay.
If there's two of you, leave two of you in here.
Okay, maybe it'll work. Well, shit.
Maybe.
It won't.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to mute my other. Anyway, the officer, he was correct. There was, well, shit, it kicked me anyway off of it. When Noel is sitting on the floor, you can see the nebulizer back there behind him in the back.
Right. So I find that to be a little bit odd that the medical equipment didn't, not unless, something weird happened and the
I'm
sister
about to.
flew in. They were in Texas, right? So unless the father's sister drove or flew in to pick him up, well,
Oh my God, Joe, my internet.
slow down. I can hear you. Don't be swearing now.
I'm trying not to. I'm probably fixing to have to end it because my internet is literally going in and out, in and out, in and out.
Well, that's fine. You've been live for 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna probably have to end it. I don't know what the hell. The wind is blowing out here. Literally, if a bird lands on the lines, the internet or power goes out. So that could be an issue that I have going on because we're under a wind advisory right now. So.
No, you don't have Troll out there with a shotgun getting rid of all that?
Oh no, he's watching some movie or something.
I'm just kidding.
So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here so it doesn't keep kicking me.
All right,
Hopefully
hon.
tomorrow working better. I hope anyway. I know it's supposed to storm here, but I think the storms are going to be moved out by the time I go live. So
Yeah. All right, then I'll drop off and you can
okay.
do your things and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night, hon.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I'm gonna try to get out of here real quick before it kicks me. Kentucky. So I'm fixing to get out of here. I love you. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will talk with y'all tomorrow.